Into the Badlands do we march again, under the wyvern banner of one Grimgor Ironhide. The righteous fist of GORK, and possibly Mork, is ready to do battle on his own home turf against the Beastmen menace. First, he's gonna crump him. Then, he's gonna smash him. He'll jump up and down on the itty-bitty pieces he leaves behind, and then, he's gonna get really mean. But the Beastmen of Slaanesh are out in force, led by a Doombull and an army of Slaangors, so let's see if they can match the primal fury of the Green Tide with their own Bray Herd. We're back on SFO Grimhammer, myself and Zach B. Sane duking it out. It's actually the second time we played this battle. The first time, the Beastmen went for a coordinate theme with Corngors, and it just did not work out well for them. They don't have enough AP to deal with Black Orcs, so it got a bit stompy. For the second go-around, it's a very different approach from the Beastmen, with the same old Fist of GORK style for the boys in green. No damage spells for the Shaman, just some extra sauce for the front line. And of course, we can't build an army of the gods without their avatars, so Doombull Rogue Idols here, ready to lay the smackdown from range with his Cadillac-sized boulders, or in melee with his Cadillac-sized boulders. He does not rout in this mod, he just collapses into rubble when his name is called. And yeah, he hits really damn hard. 700 weapon strength, a lot of AP, so pretty scary. Behind him are the Krimson Killerz, consistently amongst the best infantry blenders in all of Mortal Empires, with a stupidly strong stat line and AoE attacks. There's not a single unit on the Beastmen roster that can beat them in a straight-up fight. And naturally, Grimgor Ironhide is in the driver's seat, equipped with his standard kit, but with a model that is quite a bit more hefty than you'll see in the base game. He's more troll-sized here, which is only fitting for a great greenskin conqueror who never stops growing. He's supported by a Black Orc Big Boss and legions of Boar Boys and Black Orcs. Clearly not a meta army, but certainly a thematic one, and we'll see how it matches up against the Beastmen of Slaanesh, who have switched it up to better crack through the heavy armor of Grimgor's famous infantry. Slaangors will certainly help with that, stalking unseen on the flanks, using their 66 speed to get into flanking positions. And the Bray Shaman of the Lore of Shadows will be the main caster, Mind Razor, Enfeebling Foe, and Miasma as his spells. In the back of the map is a Doombull of Slaanesh. He runs as fast on foot as Grail Knights do on horseback, and he has 550 weapon strength majority AP, so those dual scimitars are a force you do not want to mess with, but he does have low melee defense, which means he's open to attacks. So as this battle gets underway, it's the Rogue Idol that should draw first blood from downtown, dropping dimes as the Beastmen make their approach. Gore Herd are in loose formation, so they typically won't be completely shish kebabbed by a throw from one of those boulders, but they can take a beating on the way in, and expect the Bray Herds to lose quite a few of their number before melee is joined here. Nice thing about Beastmen in SFO is that they're fast, and when they go for a Slaanesh theme, they're even faster. I mean, 66 speed on infantry is bananas in pajamas, so yeah, they can close the gap pretty quickly. And the way you use the Slaangors is like cavalry. They're very bad in prolonged engagements. You don't want to be leaving them in and amongst Black Orcs for a long time, but with good micro and cycle charging, they are devastating against armor. And speaking of devastating, Ungor Archer just took a nasty shot from Doombull Rogue Idol. Now you can see the Beastmen are trying to overload the Greenskin right flank. They're putting a lot of their Slaangors, a lot of their emphasis, their throwing axes, a lot of their elites over on this side to try to overwhelm it. And that's one thing the Beastmen can do very well. They can pretend like they're coming at you from the front or a certain angle and then immediately switch gears and come at you from a different side and try to get that surround off. Enfeebling Foe will make those Black Orcs pretty much hit nothing, lower their melee attack down to 9, makes it very difficult for them to do any damage to any of the Beastmen units on their way in. And Gore Herd and Orc Boys are fighting it out, but the big boss is going to do what he's supposed to do, which is wade in, get alongside some of the lower tier infantry, and give them a chance to hit above their weight class. Doombull is into melee now, and those dual scimitars should have put in some serious work. Orc Boys in SFO do have a bonus versus infantry, which means they can trade okay into Gore Herd, but the Doombull also causes terror, so that's a terror route coming in. Those Orc Boys did not last very long, but with Grimgor and the big boss fighting next to the Orc Boys, those Gore Herd should fall relatively quickly, but I think that terror from the Doombull gives him a little bit of extra utility that you won't see out of Grimgor. And in fact, the Slaaneshi champion also has a contact effect that removes immune to psychology, which is incredibly useful against a Black Orc core, because in almost all situations, they're immune to terror routes. Not if the Doombull slices into their formation, though. Keep an eye out for that. With that said, Grimgor is a significantly more powerful duelist, and he'll have help from a Black Orc Big Boss. So if the Doombull is thinking of maybe going fisticuffs with them, it won't turn out well for the champion of the Beastmen. You'll have to move away quickly. And here, Wa has popped. The Slaangors are in position for a flank, but they are going to be completely swarmed and inundated by a charge from Board Boy Cavalry, who have AP and bonus versus infantry in SFO as well. There we go, popped. Wa is popped. Look at the stat line on those Black Orcs now. Yeah, the Slaangor are realizing how precarious that situation is. They're down to about 1/3 health. They're pulling away now, and they can utilize that speed to get out of some pretty sticky situations. Now, the crazy thing about having 66 speed on an infantry unit is that if Cav looks to disengage, they can't. They're the same speed. So Slaangor will actually catch up and slice them down. So even though the Boar Boy's got a great engagement there, even though the Slaangor is actually in a precarious position himself, being beaten on by Grimgor and the Black Orc Big Boss, the Boar Boys can't disengage easily from the Slaangor. So that flanking attack from the Slaanesh champions has opened up some holes in the Greenskins battle line, and even though there's no back line to protect, no skirmish play or squishy archers you have to worry about, you still don't want to have units with that much armor piercing and that much mobility running free in your rear. It means they can get some great hammer and anvils off on your Black Orcs, and although Black Orcs will beat up any Beastmen unit on the field in a straight up engagement, the Slaangors can utilize that maneuverability to its fullest potential, and some rear charges could turn things in the Bray Herde's favor. For now, though, Black Orcs with Wob Pop for a second time, dealing with a bunch of Ungor Raiders and all the trash. Krimson Killerz are amazing for fodder clearing. The AoE attacks are incredibly useful on that front, and obviously they have enough punching power to get through Slaangors no problem, too. They had 150 melee attack when Wa was active, and the decapitations will flow, the rivers of gore will flow, and Grimgor's chosen hammer battering the Beastmen defenses for the moment. But the low melee defense and the lack of speed for the Boar Boys has seen the majority of the Greenskin Cav already be destroyed, hunted down by the Slaangor. And even though the Boar Boys got a great charge off and dealt a tremendous amount of damage, and honestly traded upwards into those elite Slaanesh warriors, they're pretty much gone. We might see a few Boar Boys return, but for the most part, they are out of the picture. Black Orcs are fully surrounded, but that's not so bad. It means they can attack in any direction, and Tabigun is still dropping some boulders from on high, providing some artillery support from downtown. Orc Shaman being hit by a few throwing axes, not a big deal there. And the Avatar of GORK put some spider attack on that boulder, got some serious swerve on that curveball, and the Slaangors will think they'll field that one in the morning. Enfeebling Foe has trashed the melee stats of these Black Orcs. When we last checked on them only like 25-30 seconds ago, they were pretty much at full HP. But when your melee defense drops like crazy and you can't hit anything, well, you're not going to be very useful in CQB, and that hurt too. Big shot coming in from the boulders, though, right into the center of the Centaurs, who were a little bit too blobbed up there. Ungor Raiders operating out on the flanks. The nice thing about a lot of the large single entity monsters in SFO is they don't care if only 1 or 2 archers are firing into them. This thing has massive missile resistance, it has a massive HP pool, 125 armor, not taking a tremendous amount of damage, even though a lot of fire is being sent his way, and honestly I think that's how it should be. 2 archers, 2 Ungor Raiders should not be enough to deal with a Colossus that large. It's a tough nut to crack, it's a tough problem for the Beastmen to solve here. Throwing axes might be the answer. Meanwhile, Doombull managed to cause a terror rout on the Black Orcs on this flank, which is just a huge deal. Normally they would not be able to cause the Black Orcs to rout until their leadership is super low, but being able to cause terror routs on things that are typically immune to psychology is game-changing. That contact effect on a Lord, a Doombull, that can cause terror, it's huge. It's huge, and it's had some implications so far, for sure. Orc Boys and some Boar Boys in the background thinking about coming back. Another nice shot from the boulders there. Man, killed like 15 models. He's racking up the damage on some high-value targets for sure. And the throwing axes have been pretty smart with their ammunition, barring maybe 1 or 2 volleys into the Orc Shaman. They're saving that. They know that the Big Gun Rogue Idol is the game changer, and they need ammunition to deal with it. They will not be able to kill it in close quarters battle. Here come the Slaangor. Here come the Ungors. Here come the entire Bray herd. Even the Bray Shaman charging in. Occam's Mind Razor going down. Magical attacks and huge armor-piercing weapon strength for everything. Call of Violence, physical resistance, and leadership in an AoE. It's all popping off here. Look how many buffs and debuffs are going down. Here we go. Fists of GORK. Let's see who wins this one, man. There's a lot going on right now. Grimgor, Ironhide, and the Black Orc Big Boss fighting back to back. The Doombull is in the thick of it now. Rogue Idol is kind of fighting on the periphery. Needs to stop into the center, start causing some terror routes amongst these lower tier infantry. Clear off that chaff. The Big Boss got punted out of the melee. And now the Doombull's beating on him, but Grimgor is behind. Fists of GORK is active. Bone Crusher Contact Effect active, and the Doombull is dropping, but so is the Big Boss. See if that trade is worth it for the Beastmen. Razor Chariot charging in as well, and the Rogue Idol just stomping on those piggies and taking them to Farmer's Market. I can feel it deep in my plums. Ripe for the picking. And the Rogue Idol, anything that gets near, going to be terror routed. You can see the throwing axes are beginning to take an effect on the Colossus. It's down to about 7,500 HP or so. And the Doombull charging back into melee. This time might have bit off a bit more than he can chew. The Crimson Killerz are there. Grimgor is there. Even the Big Boss is there, but he's wavering. So is the Slaanesh champion. And the Bray herd with a full surround off on a tiny amount of Greenskins left. But that won't last long. Not with the belly flops coming in, sending Ungors flying, smearing them across the pavement. And the 1-2 combo. Looking like Mike Tyson out there. Big on Rogue Idol's getting real pissed off. And the terror routes are imminent for the Beastmen army. Both sides are in tatters. Doombull is maybe 1 hit from death. If he goes down, could be a mass rout for the Bray herd. But he's got 77 speed, so catching up to that is not something the Greenskins have the capacity for anymore. Even their board boys can't catch up to that Doombull lord. It's a speedster for sure. Razor Chariot, Dunzo, Grimgor, Orc Shaman, Black Orcs, and maybe 1 or 2 hits from the Rogue Idol was more than enough. Fists of GORK down on him. But there's nothing for him to punch anymore. Everything keeps routing. Now the big thing that the Beastmen have going for them at the moment is they just caused the Big Gun to rampage, which is huge in and of itself. But they still have a decent amount of ammunition. All of them are about half in terms of their total ammo pool. Orc Shaman waiting in. Just killed 2 or 3 Centaurs with that first attack. And here comes the Rogue Idol again. Another belly flop. Another pancaked regiments of Ungor Raiders. Even the archers are getting committed into melee now. That's how few melee troops are left on the field. And the avatars of GORK, the Big Gun Rogue Idol and Grimgor Ironhide, the left and right fist of their patron deity, and possibly Mork too, they're causing carnage. Complete havoc. And low tier infantry obviously don't stand a chance. It's just a sea of red right now. You love to see it. And the Orc Shaman's beating up on the Bray Shaman in the background too. Oh, big throwing axe volley. Honestly, if I'm them, I make sure that Big on Rogue Idol goes down. You don't want to be using ammo on anything except for the Colossus at this point. Oh, the Bray Shaman can run away. He's a little bit faster than the Greenskins. Big Boss linking up with the Shaman over on that side while Grimgor finally finishes off these Centaurs. 4 falling to Gitsnick with 1 swipe of his massive cleaver. Okay, Colossus is super dead now. The Big on Rogue Idol will not survive this withering salvo, and it will collapse into dust. Good night, sweet prince. It was an honorable death. We'll resurrect you should the Greenskins win here, but they have a lot more work to do. Balance bar is now pretty much even, but there's still a lot of ammo left on all these Centaur throwing axes. And that means the Greenskin Hero Corps is left at the mercy of all these armor-piercing volleys. So we'll put it into fast forward for a little bit, dodge some of them. Now the question is, can their leadership hold? And for the Big Boss and the Orc Shaman, the answer is negative, Ghost Rider. They're off. They're done. That will leave Grimgor by himself, which, from a lore perspective, I mean, he's going to win this 100%. In-game, not a guarantee. Not with the way single entities work when surrounded by tons of models slicing in. And Slaangors don't have amazing melee stats. We know that. But they still have some ammo left, so if they want to disengage and throw some, they can. It'll be difficult, even though he is closer to troll size than most of the lords in the game. He can still dodge most of the ammo that gets thrown his way with some good micro, so they might have to finish him off in melee. That's what they're doing right now. Can Grimgor's leadership stabilize and hold? Can he cause a mass rout for the Beastmen here, standing alone on an island unto himself? Bounceport says he's got a chance, that's for sure. Black Orc Big Boss is shattered. Orc Shaman will not return either. It's just 3 beaten up Centaur units against Grimgor Ironhide. Crazy last stand. And let's see if he can do it. Get back here. Proper smashing. Both activated. He does have to be cognizant of rear charges, but there's not a whole lot he can do about them. He just has to hope his leadership stabilizes and holds. At the moment, it's in an okay position, but he is fully surrounded now. 4,200 HP, and he would so easily kill every single unit remaining if his leadership would just stay there and not drop. But Grimgor, the avatar of GORK, and possibly Mork, decides, I'm tired, I'm out. And even though he has the melee prowess to butcher every single Centaur on the field, he will not stick around. He's out, and that's going to be a Beastmen win, and that Doombull was a force. The Crimson Killerz were amazing. The Big On was awesome. Grimgor was solid this game, although that last stand, I felt like I wanted to see more out of it. I was hoping he would win it. I thought he had a chance to do so. Not kill every single one of them, but just cause them to rout, and once they rout, it's over. Didn't quite happen. The Big On Rogue Idol got over 2,000 damage value, tons of damage done. Of course, with those boulder throws and in melee both. Fantastic way to do so. Slaangors were a problem for the Black Orcs this game for sure. They'll lose in a straight up fight, but they're just so much faster. They can always pick and choose their engagements, and they got some great hammer and anvils off on the Black Orc front line. But the Doombull was a big factor too, man. That contact effect, stripping a Munisike away, causing Black Orcs to tear out is a big problem. And the throwing axes. I mean, they were the linchpin of the build. The Greenskins didn't have an answer for them. To be fair, they knew the Greenskins wouldn't have an answer for them. They knew that the Greenskins were going for a Grimgor Black Orc core. No horse archers, or I guess wolf archers. No skirmish cav. That's how you would typically deal with Centaurs throwing axes, but they did not have an answer for them in this battle, and that meant that they got free volleys into the boulder throwing behemoth.